Good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday, May the 30th. Just one day left in the month of May. Amazing. I'm going to have a really quick report today. I will be on Fast Markets on Top Step TV. I sure hope some of you are there to visit with me. We've got new bubble charts on TrendSpider, so they're always coming up with great stuff. Just love them. Here is the reason I started with gold. We've come right down to this. I put that alert all the way up here. And here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth day here. If we close the day under here, my suspicion is that we head all the way back down to 22.80. That might be another solid buy point. You really want to watch for what the dollar is doing in this environment. That's going to be extremely important. Levels above 23.30, if you want to trade them long, go all the way to 23.50. We have a big number coming tomorrow that the Fed looks at. So today might be a little sideways. And sadly, we've got ourselves the end of the month tomorrow. So there's all kinds of rebalancing. We could have a couple of really sticky days. My vote is, if you don't have to trade today, I'd say pull out your practice accounts and work there. It could be really muddy unless you know specifically if you've got an agenda for what you want to do. Taking a look at oil, it's still caught sideways. My suspicion is that it does not breach 80. In fact, I do expect it to come all the way back down, but this heavy congestion should give it a little bit of trouble. Again, what's the slope? Down to flat. So if it's down to flat, you're going to look for resistance, and then you're also going to look for support. Momentum is almost non-existent, so it's going to wash back and forth in between these ranges. Look for the deep dips near 77 for a nice, sweet long. Or look at that 80 location again, 80, 50 or so for a short. Let's take a look at the ES. Broken down last night, got the trigger. Where are we? Well, we're below the close of the prior day. Usually means sellers are in a little bit of control. And so I'm going to clone this line, and let's go down and have a look at the next line of congestion. To me, it looks like it's right around here, right? 52.44. Here's the very interesting thing. 52.50 is the put wall. And so what does that mean? Well, at first pass, they're going to want to reject that. So this begins as a buying zone, but if we cannot break above 52.73, it becomes a selling zone. And so here's what I suspect is the first pass today. One, we try to buy the dip, we come into the 52.84 area, we cannot get it, and we sell back down. Do we break 52.50 today? No. I think we break it tomorrow. If we break 52.50 today, we're going to very likely have a cascade, and that cascade will push us down. Ooh, I don't love that thought, but that cascade could push us down into 52.07. All right, tomorrow's going to be a big release day. We'll see what happens. Volume, of course, is trending a little bit lower, and if we look at the highest volume candlestick, we are outside of that range. And if I say to myself, if I clone this, but I only give it this size, whoops, let's say I give it this, the size of this candlestick, and then I duplicate it again, we can see the edge of the candle being right around here. It's that 50% marker, right? If I move it up here, we have that measure until we figure out who's in charge, all right? So I'm going to maybe change the color of this so that we know it's a little bit different. Right, and these are the ones that we know we'll be watching for upside and downside measure. Actually, you know what? I'm going to remove this channel, and I'm just going to clone this one and bring it down here. And again, why are we using this? Because it's got the highest volume. Okay, that's where most of the new participants are sitting, and we can see the 50% marker there also coinciding, and you can see the almost automatic rejection of 52.50. Well, folks, that's where the call wall is, all right? And so that's what we need to watch stair step down to sideways, likely over the next few days. Some people are calling for, that's my allergy meds you just heard me knocking over. Some people are calling for 5,200. I would not be surprised. Here is our high volume candlestick formation here, right? So let me build a brand new one. Yeah, we can change the color. Make this one white. I know, I'm just so bad at continuity. I'd make a terrible continuity manager in the movies. All right, so here we go for the bottom. It just kissed it. So chances are 18,805. Let's get an alert up there. See if we can get through that. Right, we want to break through, touch, or bounce. Gives us a good feed on whether price action is going to hold here. We're dancing with the close of yesterday, which was also a low, right? Very ugly candlestick formation. And our CRM put butterfly is going to look very sweet because we only spent 40 cents on both sides. It is going to be lovely. Might be worth, $1.50, $2, something like that. So very, very nice formations. Downside pressure, 18,627 support zone, and then below 18,538. I do not know where the put wall is here in the NQ. I have not checked it out, but I'll give it to us later in the day as we connect overall. Let's take a look at the YM. I don't know where the YM put calls are, put wall is, but we can see, listen, yesterday was a fantastic buy the dip until it got to resistance, and then it rotated right back over. So when we choose buy the dip formations like the one that showed up yesterday, we have to make sure that all we're doing is holding the dip close, and then we move in the direction of trend. And have a look at this. This is a catastrophe, of course. CRM looks horrific, right? Somebody just did put up a chart that said, hey, look at what the Dow's done since they pulled Exxon out and they put Salesforce in, and the Dow has just been atrocious. And so that is pretty interesting. So what are we looking for? Well, we're underneath the close of the prior day, still heavy selling, but not a ton of it, right? In terms of size of the candlestick this morning. The overall motion is very negative, but we are really far away from the 14 simple moving average. And that normally triggers a bounce. So what am I looking for? Same sort of thing. If I bounce, I'm looking for a collapse at resistance, a fade, that resistance is 38,635, a fade into 37,934, and then a potential bounce. This could easily be a bottoming formation right here. Absolutely easily a bottoming formation. When might the bottom be? It might be tomorrow for the PCE. Okay? All right. Finally, let's look at the SPY and the Qs. SPY, old resistance, new support. Again, my suspicion is traders are going to be sideways in a very messy zone. But the 50% marker of my last, take a look at this, we'll move it over here. You can see it sitting right on top of this number. What are the traders going to do? They're going to try and get back above the moving average. What is the storyboard? Moving average flat to up, momentum also up to flat, right? So what does that tell us? It tells us we've got sideways motion. We don't have breaks to the north. We don't have breaks to the south that hold. So trade resistance to support or support to resistance here. And we're getting close to the end of the month, folks. It could be a very nasty, choppy day where the only person that makes money is your broker. So just, today is a good day to study. Take a look at the Qs. Old resistance, new support, bouncing right off the 453. Great overnight level to have a buy. What's the next zone? 456. If we lose 453, we will very likely have a price action event that sends us down into 449 and potentially even further whoops, further into, let's clone it, this area right here at 446. All right, good luck trading, folks. Undercurrent's bullish. The dips can be much deeper in an environment like this, and the bounces are very likely to give up their gains also in this kind of environment. It's tricky. So stay frosty, and I'll see you all on the platforms.